ultimate predators. State-of-the-art technology shows how the big cats really live. Thermal imaging cameras reveal them to be perfect hunters in the darkness. But even the so-called rulers of the animal kingdom live dangerously. The young depend on the prowess of their mothers, just as much as the determination of their fathers, the defenders of the pride. Africa's open savanna is a paradise for grazers. At the other end of the scale, the big cats need good cover. Just like here, many rivulets rise from a swamp, which then form a stream, known as the Ronkai. Its water flows for just a few weeks in the year, but this is enough for lush vegetation to take hold. The Ronkai makes its way through the steppes to the Mara River. The flat valley is ideal lion country, so much so that two prides have settled here. One of them rules the estuary area, while the other controls the upper reaches with the expansive reed growth. In early August, the huge wildebeest herds from the southern Serengeti come to the region. The dense bushes along the riverbanks provide the big cats with ideal hunting conditions. Nonetheless, mistakes are best avoided. Patiently, she waits for the right moment. This time, it's all too easy. A weak wildebeest has lost contact with the herd. The pride at the upper reaches of the river comprises 5 females, sisters and half-sisters, born into their territory, which they inherited from their mothers. The lionesses are often alone, especially when they have their young to look after. Then they rarely meet with their siblings. In August, 3 of the females on the upper reaches have offspring. Withdrawn, they look after them alone for the first few months. Not all of the lion's neighbors are harmless, though. This python has gobbled down a gazelle, but he is just as keen on a helpless yet tasty lion baby as well. A herd of African buffalo makes its way through the valley. The second mother of the pride knows that the cubs would be in mortal danger should the black giants discover them. As if there weren't enough dangerous neighbors, the lush vegetation of the area attracts elephants too. Nerves of steel are an advantage when sandwiched like this between a herd of buffalo and elephants. In the end, she retreats with her young from the danger zone. The third lioness has found dense foliage in which to accommodate her babies. Her 4 young are as good as invisible here. The thicket is like a fort, impenetrable, even for elephants or buffaloes. Lions are born blind and helpless. They are looked after in hideouts such as this for weeks on end and have to be suckled every few hours. The babies can hardly be seen as the infants of kings, as only very few of them survive the dangerous initial weeks, despite their mother's tireless efforts. The lower course of the Ronkai up to the estuary of the Mara River is the territory of the neighbouring pride. 3 lionesses have brought up 10 strong adolescents, which is an unusually successful result, but at the same time a burden. Because the youngsters are permanently hungry. They're not much help on a hunt either, and spend the day fooling around. The valley and the bordering territories are in the paws of 4 strong brothers. Years ago, they drove other males out of the entire region, and with it, took over the lionesses of a huge territory. The stream is but a small section of their kingdom, which they constantly patrol from one corner to the next. The fourth is following a female who seems to be in the mating mood. Then the annoying neighbors turn up yet again. The cozy get-together is over. Their majesties are not amused. Their reputation damaged, charging off with their tails between their legs, is obviously not how the royals had imagined their day. Countless grazers live in the lush savanna alongside the stream. This attracts a variety of predators, like the serval, for example. The slender wildcat is particularly keen on small prey. Its sensitive ears rarely even miss the rustling of mice. The open grassland above the valley is the world of the serval. Birds shouldn't become too complacent here either, not as long as the nimble cat is out stalking. This time, a small rodent has attracted her attention. Carefully, she tries to get closer. This can take several minutes. Locating the objective is literally a case of playing it by ear. Didn't work this time, but not to worry. There are plenty of snacks where that came from. Patience pays off. A short while later, and an inattentive lark puts a smile back on the serval's face. The cat searches for a cool, shadowy resting place in the increasing heat. Lions don't consider servals as competitors. The small wildcats are mostly ignored by them. Lion mothers are on the move. With such an abundance of prey, it is anything but difficult to be successful, even in the daylight. Surprising the victims in the riverbed is a proven tactic. Everything seems to be going according to plan, when suddenly the tide turns. badly injured, the lioness trudges into the shade. She won't be able to hunt for weeks, and her milk supply will soon run dry. The other mothers haven't noticed anything about the situation. They often don't see one another for weeks on end. While the cubs are very small, the mothers avoid any contact which could put their babies at risk. Yet still, the simple presence of the sisters is a life insurance policy. Prey is very rarely eaten in its entirety, so that the ill or injured can be certain of their share without having to hunt themselves. As long as the wildebeest herds are in the vicinity, the mother of the four is okay. She's well nourished and has plenty of milk on tap. In the late afternoon, she's off hunting, even though she's not really hungry. At times when food is in ample supply, lions fill up their reserves whenever they can. The herds spend just a few months in the valley, making it prudent to use every opportunity. An experienced lioness makes a hunt look like child's play, but in fact, the risk of being injured is high during each attack, as some wildebeest know how to defend themselves. In the cool evening air, the neighboring pride begins preparations. The teenagers can hardly wait for night to fall. They are in the best of health and are bristling with strength. Their hunting instinct is immediately aroused by a passing zebra. What better time to practice what their mothers have so diligently taught them? But they have obviously overestimated their abilities by far and appear quite confused. The two lionesses don't take things really seriously. The night will provide more simple hunting possibilities. For a few minutes, the savannah is blanketed in calm and peace, as if all present want to draw breath after the heat of the day and prior to the tension of the night. With a thermal imaging camera, we can follow events even in total darkness. As far as elephants are concerned, they go about their business regardless, whether it's day or night. Most herbivores are now noticeably quieter than they are at daytime. Almost soundlessly, the zebras refill their water reserves. Columns of wildebeest make their way to a resting place. They too are very quiet, as lions listen in the dark for telltale sounds. That is, when they're not preoccupied with their offspring.